My name is Madison. I'm going to talk to you about the fermentation process. This started thousands of years ago and was essential to many cultures, especially without refrigeration. It preserved things, preserved nutrients, and makes things more bioavailable. In the gold rush, Alaskans slept with their startups in order to keep them alive and warm. I'm going to show you a way to ferment foods without startups, super easy with just cabbage and salt. The salt and the cabbage with the enzymes together create their own type of fermentation and still producing many of the super beneficial probiotics, B vitamins, omega fatty acids, along with multiple strains of probiotics. I'm going to start by telling you what is fermented foods. Fermented foods is done by a process of lactofermentation. This happens when the sugar and the starch are eaten. In addition, it produces an alcohol, and that ferments the food. So this also, again, tells you, it produces the essential enzymes, fatty acids, vitamins, and all of those things that are harder to find in today's society. We have had a significant decline in probiotics and enzymes that we used to find in raw milk or pickles and other fermented grains. All of those processes have been removed from the standard diet, and now we're starting to see some of the harmful effects of having reduced and altered gut bacteria. So I'm going to show you the process. First, we're going to gather everything we need. We need salt and cabbage cutting board, along with a jar and a bowl. Now let's cut this cabbage in half. I did that for you, so when you have your whole cabbage, you'll just cut it in half. Then you're going to really slimly slice all of the cabbage in order to make it nice and easy bites after the fermentation process has happened. Alright, so this is kind of what it looks like. Super thin and chopped up. I'm going to show you with just this amount. We're going to add a few tablespoons of salt. For the whole cabbage, you'll want about 3. So then after that, we get to the fun part. This part is where we massage the cabbage, and you're gonna really get into there, super massage it for about 3 minutes. This is, we're gonna get all the liquid out of this cabbage, and that is going to help us in order to create all the liquid and the enzymes that come out of the cabbage is part of what creates this fermentation. So I'm going to tell you more about fermented foods while I do this. Fermented foods are to create a more available source of vitamin and minerals for our bodies to absorb by boosting our beneficial bacteria in our gut, making it easier to manufacture B vitamins and synthesize vitamin K. This all happens in our gut and is great for our immune system. Eating fermented foods can also help with mood and behavior. It links our gut and our brain through HPA axis, which is our integrate nervous system. The gut is lined with neurons that can influence emotions and feelings. This is what I'm going to interrupt myself and show you how this cabbage is starting to produce the juice and kind of wilt. That wilting process is super essential. You'll just want to keep digging in here. And this is the beneficial bacteria is also going to help you produce more serotonin. All of our serotonin is produced in our gut. And if you notice, most people that are on antidepressants, that is a chemical way to produce the same thing. At this point, you can add flavors. So my sister in Thailand, she used to add hot chili peppers, Thai basil, jalapenos, fennel, that kind of stuff. Here you can, I really like dill in my cabbage. I think adds a really nice flavor. Some people like ginger. You can go super curry with it. Anywhere you want. Turmeric is a delicious thing in it. After that, you're going to start by packing in your cabbage, just kind of like so. So I already started to pack this round. We're going to tightly pack our cabbage in here. And if the juice doesn't reach the top, then you can add more filtered water. Right here, my juice is already up to here, so then I'm just going to really pack this in. Luckily, I massaged this for quite a few minutes. That's really, really essential to the process. As I know I mentioned earlier, the salt and the enzymes, bacteria already found in the cabbage will start the fermentation process. So after you get it all nicely packed and you can see that the liquid is already here up to the top, once you see that, that's really, really good. Then you don't have to add any filtered water. So we're going to tightly pack this. And then to ensure it's tightly packed, some people even put crystals or other things on top. After that, we're going to put the top on and close it. This, you'll want it nice and tight, super tight. And then you'll actually let it sit. So it's gonna rest for 3 to 6 days, and that's going to allow it to start fermenting. Within 24 hours, you're going to want to open the jar and allow all of the gases that are produced when the sugar is being eaten. It produces a gas, and that gas is the first part of the fermentation process, and that is going to need to be released. Otherwise, your jar will explode. So you're gonna definitely want that. Now that your cabbage is in your jar, you'll also want to make sure that you leave it for that. But my best preference is about 6 days for this. Some people like a little bit less, some people like a little bit more. The longer you let it go, the more it's going to ferment, and that fermentation is going to give you more beneficial bacteria. It also, for some people, is a little bit stronger to the taste, and it also will help you detox. So if you're not used to it, there can be like a die-off effect of killing the bad bacteria with extra good bacteria. I personally do it every 3 to 4 days. That way I can have cabbage that's always ready. Fermented foods last a long time. They can last months open, probably about 3 once you open your cabbage. You want to make sure that you label when you open it, so you know how about when you made it and when you open it, about how much time you have left to do so. It honestly lasts forever when it's closed, and that's part of the reason why it was so important back in the olden days when you didn't have a fridge and stuff like that. This is going to produce tons and tons of good bacteria, enzymes, all those things that I need to help with my gut health, in addition for only being about $3. So I bought, each cabbage was like $1.50, and then I already had the salt, and salt is fairly inexpensive. Even if you use, I recommend Himalayan salt, so even if you use Himalayan salt, you're only using about 3 tablespoons. And then this, luckily for me, I already had the mason jar. So I really hope that you take what you've learned here today and go try it on your own. It makes delicious sides. People put it on burgers and hot dogs and with barbecue, and it really makes an amazing addition to any meal. So I appreciate you listening to my speech. I can see you. I'm sure they can see you. All right.